Millz Young here, part of Pick Dawgz, MMA Locker Room, as you guys know me as. I'm going to be going over this week's UFC Fight Night card between Joe Pyfer and Jack Hermansson in the main event, with the co-main event headlined around Dan Ige and Andre Fili. And I'm going to go over all the other 12 fights on the card. But before we do that, hey man, let's go ahead and, talk about how we did last week. So how'd you guys do last week? Okay, not bad. Over here on our predictions, we did decent, man. Nah, we did good. We went 9-3 on our predictions, okay? Yeah, one of the fights that we did have on there did get canceled due to a no contest eye poke. But besides that, great day over here on premiums as well. We ended up going 5-2 on that as well. So, hey, man, can't complain on nothing, man. We had some dogs on the card that was barking that we predicted right. And, hey, man, we're going to keep doing it the same thing for you guys this week, okay? Got a lot of fights to talk about, so let's go ahead and get it started. But before we do, if you guys want to see what I'm betting on this card, head on over to the site, Pick Dawgz. I got it all up there for you. I'm putting my picks into 3 packs for you. I'm giving you guys round props. I'm giving you guys all different angles and ways to get paid, okay? So, hey, let's go ahead and talk about the fights that we got. So far, none of the fights got pulled off or canceled, so we got some fights to talk about. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Daniel Marquez, 15-0, taking on Richie Lane, 25 wins, 11 losses. Daniel Marquez is a big favorite on this one. He's opening up a -240 favorite on there. 2-0 in the UFC. We've been making money on him so far. Richie Lane, he's kind of been back and forward in the UFC. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Supposedly, he's looking in his best shape in this fight. I like Daniel Marcos in this one to get it done. The way that he strikes in his volume, I think it's going to be too much for Richie Lang. I think Daniel Marcos wins by decision. On to the next fight. Amil making his UFC debut. 8-0, taking on Fernie Garcia, 10-4. Fernie Garcia is going to be stepping up in this weight class, okay? He's 0-3 in his last couple of fights out. Tough Mexican fighter. He's good on the ground too. Clean boxing. Amil, though, he has power for his strength. I like his size. I like his reach advantage that he's going to have in this fight. He's opened up a -170 favorite in here. Amil, coming from the Contender Series, got the win in there. Then before that, he was fighting in LFA too and other promotions. So I've seen a couple of his fights before, I like Amil in this spot. I actually think he's going to be able to finish him. But yeah, I'm going to take Amil to get this one done. Third fight on the card, Zach Pauga, 6 wins, 2 losses, taking on Bogdan Guskov. All right, the opening odds got Zach at a -125. Former Ultimate Fighter contender, that's who he is. He's 1-1 in the UFC. He lost to Usman's brother, Muhammad, in a fight that it just was lackluster, and he was a favorite in there and should have won. Then he came back against Modestic Bukowskis and won by decision. This is a big guy, man. I mean, he doesn't fight like a big guy. Bogdan made his UFC debut against Volkan Ozdemir, and he wasn't able to get the win. Actually, he wasn't even able to last that long in here. But this is a guy that always looks to come forward, and, he's trying to put your lights out in here. Zach Pauga, yeah, he might try to clinch you up against the cage, but he's a big guy, and he doesn't pack none of that power. I like Bogdan in this spot. I think he'll be able to touch him up a little bit in there and get Zach Pauga out of here. If Zach Pauga got dropped off Usman's brother, I think Bogdan could get this one done. I'm going to take Guskov in this spot. I'm going to go ahead and get the plus money with Bogdan to get it done at +105. Next fight on the card, banger alert. I mean banger alert, man. Jeremiah Wells, 12 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. Taking on Max Griffin, 19 wins, 10 losses. All right, I'm going to keep it nice, short, and sweet. Jeremiah Wells is a -160 favorite. He's taking on Max Griffin. I interviewed Max Griffin, and he's a friend he's a friend over here of mine, okay? I'm not going to speak on this fight because I just don't want to, okay? I don't want to give out any information on this fight. I just feel like I shouldn't be speaking on this fight. Yeah, man. I'm not going to speak on it at all, okay? But I like fight goes the distance in this one, okay? And I think Max Griffin is getting disrespected. I got an interview out with him. You guys can check it out on my YouTube page at MMA Locker Room with Max Griffin if you guys want more details. But he said, hey, man, it's the first time I'm fighting a shorter fighter in a long time. He's used to fighting those taller, rangier guys. And Jeremiah Wells is talking trash and, saying he's going to knock him out. Max Griffin only been finishing one of his fights. I like the over in this fight. And then also, too, I'll be honest, man. let's go ahead and do it, man. No, let's just keep it quiet, keep it professional. All right, next fight on the card, man. Devin Clark, 14 wins, 8 losses, taking on Marcin Prachnio, 16 wins, 7 losses. Devin Clark in this fight, he's a minus, 225 on there. Okay, typical matchup, you got a wrestler versus a karate guy. In other words, grappler versus striker in here. It ain't hard to figure out who's what. Devin Clark, man. All right, let's speak about him, man. He was able to get a few good wins, and he got some real bad losses. His last fight out, he got subbed by Kennedy and Chukwu. Marcin Prachnio, though, it's the same type of thing. His last fight out, he beat William Knight, and before that, though, it was kind of like the same thing. Win a fight, lose a fight. Win a fight, lose a fight. And then after that, he did get that win, right? But then he lost to Victor Petrino, in his last time out. So both these guys need a win to get back in the win column. Prachnio is the type of karate type of fighter that's going to look to strike you up and, win on the scorecards. And, that type of fight style isn't irrelevant no more. Devin Clark knows what to do to get the judges, to give him the decisions, because he's done did this plenty of times before. On the feet, yeah, he's not the best striker at all, but, I think Devin Clark will be able to get this one done. I'm going to take Devin Clark to win by decision in this one. Next fight. Okay, Lookboonme, 8 wins, 3 losses, taking on Brasil, 9 wins, 3 losses. Lookboonme is opening up a minus 260 favorite on there, okay? 2-0 her last couple of fights out, getting a win over Denise Gomes and Sam Hughes, I want to say. But this is the thing that I like about her, man. She's a Muay Thai specialist striker, man. When she throws her knees and her kicks, it's something you want to see. Great in the clinch, that's where she does all her work at. But this is the thing, she's improving, and this is what I love to see on fighters, man. So if you have a fighter who has, one strength in striking, won't you love them to mix in wrestling and takedowns? That's what she did, folks. Her last couple of fights, she's been wrestling. She's been going for takedowns. She's been getting her opponents down to the ground. I like the steps that she's making. Brasil on the other side, she looked so explosive in the LFA before she came in. Then she looked good in the Contender Series. Came in the UFC, dropped her first fight against Denise Gomes when she was a favorite, but she just got knocked out in that one. Her second fight was fighting Sarah Bannon, I want to say, a girl making a UFC debut. We had her in that spot. She won by decision. She's 1-1 in the UFC. I think the price tag is off, okay? I'm going to be honest with you guys. If Lookboonme was like minus 170, I would really like this price tag a lot more. But Brasil showed, man, the height difference between these two is going to be significant. You got one fighter that's really short. I don't even know the height and size and everything. And then the other fighter is just, all right, man, no, that's not going to sound right. Because, that's just not. All right, cool. Brasil is 5'6", okay? And Luma, you guys want to know the height she is? I think she's like, what, 5'1". Big difference, especially when it comes to women's MMA. So I'm going to tell you guys like this. Tread lightly, okay? But I like Lookboonme to win in this one. I think if she mixes in the takedowns, it'll make it a lot more easier to fight. And the way that she strikes, I got to take her in this one. Give me Lookboonme to get it done. All right, next fight taking place. Boji Oki, 8-1 Belgian fighter, taking on Timothy Cuamba, coming off the UFC Contender Series. This fight just got put together. Damir Hazovic had to pull out and now got Timothy Cuamba his opportunity to be in the UFC, okay? Boji Oki is a big, explosive, fast fighter. What more do you need to hear and say not to like him? When he goes out there and strikes, you're going to see something you like. He has a short hook he likes to throw. He sets it up with the jab. Then he goes to the body. The thing that I like about Timothy, though, his opponent, he's been tested, man. And, he's shown his type of pedigree, that the way that he comes in the cage, he's coming to win, man. He's not nobody coming out there lacking confidence or anything like that, His last fight out, he was able to get that win, against Michael Stack in the Tough Enough promotion. And then before that, he got the win on the Contender Series, but it wasn't enough to get the contract. You know how it goes. On short notice, I got to go with Boji Oki in this one. I think he gets this one done. All right. Next fight taking place. Trevin Giles, 16 wins, 5 losses, taking on Carlos Prates. All right. Trevin Giles is an underdog in this one. Carlos Prates, It's like a minus 225 out there on the books, okay? Carlos Prates is an explosive fighter. Tall, rangy, Muay Thai striker, good kickboxer, long jab, long strikes. That's what he's good at, right? But this is the thing, man. When you pack power like that, you don't need to always have the most value, and he doesn't. He sets everything up, and it seems like the accuracy on his punches puts people out. Giles, though, he's a complete fighter, okay? He's been in this division now for a while. No, he hasn't. He just stepped back down in this division, going up and down from middleweight to welterweight, okay? He has a great jab. He likes to set up. He likes to go for clinch takedowns every now and then in his fights. This is the thing. When he stands out there and he's trying to strike with you, if he gets hit, he doesn't take it well, okay? This is the thing on Giles, though, man. He done paid his dues for a while now. And the UFC done kept him around and kept him around and kept him around. But they're keeping him around as literally that door opportunity, okay? So, look, hear me out on this, man. All right, when you're fighting, when you've been in the UFC for this long, there's an A side and a B side. I don't think he's been the A side, okay? All right, they try to pencil him in to fight Dricus du Plessis. That bout got canceled. Then they penciled him in to fight Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze was a guy that was high on. Roman Dolidze got the win. Giles got the win in that one, okay? Then they matched him up against Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis got the win. Then they matched him up against Michael Morales, trying to showcase Morales. Morales got the win. So it's just one of those things. They matched him up against Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim got the win. I did see this guy fight live against Preston Parsons in a fight that was close, but he did enough to win in that one. That was the only fight that I think they gave him an opponent within the last couple of months where it's like, hey, man, just go out there and get the job done. In this one, I think they're trying to showcase Prates in this one. I like the way that he strikes, man. I think he gets this one done. I'm going to go ahead and take Prates to win inside the distance. I got him to win by KO. Let's go ahead and do it. I think he wins in round 2. All right, next fight on the card. But before we do that, man, I need everybody out there to let me know what you guys are going to be betting on this week's card, man. There's a lot of good spots on here. I think there's a lot of UFC fighters that's going to be making their debut, that's going to be sticking around in the organization that we should see in time. A lot of explosive fighters in here. So let's go ahead and see who you guys are betting on so I can, see if we're going to be making some money together. Let's see how it ends up. All right. Next fight on the card, Rodolfo Vieira, 9 wins, 2 losses, taking on Armin Petrosyan, 8 wins, 2 losses. This is going to be taking place in the middleweight division. This fight was already supposed to happen, okay? And when it was supposed to happen, the lines pretty much came out identical. Minus 115 for Rodolfo, minus 110 for Petrosyan. This matchup, wow. I mean, come on now. When we talk about contrasts and styles make fights, jiu-jitsu wrestler grappler versus a kickboxing fighter striker. Who you guys like in this one, man? You got a specialist who goes out there and submits people like this in Rodolfo Vieira. Then you got another specialist who's great at their strikes and that can, strike with the best of them in Armin Petrosyan in his kickboxing. I'm going to be honest, though, man. I like the specialist in this one, okay? The reason why I'm going to just speak on a little bit of things. Armin Petrosyan has bad takedown defense. People can take him down and keep him down to the ground. Rodolfo Vieira, that's his path to victory. Think about it. It's like Street Fighter games. When you got somebody who can, do like a blade kick like Guile, and then you got E Honda on the other side, what do you think E Honda's going to do? Try to pick him up, bear hug him and get him down to the ground. Same thing, man, with this one. Check it out. Rodolfo Vieira in his last fight against Chris Curtis, a fight that he lost, he shot 20 takedowns and didn't get none. I know what you guys are thinking. He didn't get none. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he shot 20 takedowns. If you're able to shoot 20 takedowns, I know what you're going to do in the fight. And I know that's his path to victory in this one. He knows he can't strike on the feet with Armin Petrosyan. So let's go ahead and take Vieira to get this one done. Minus 115. I ain't mad at the price tag. I got him to win by sub. All right, next fight on the card. Michael Johnson taking on Darius Flowers. 21 wins, 19 losses for Michael Johnson. Darius Flowers, 12, 6, and 1. All right, Michael Johnson's a minus 125 favorite. Last time out, he got starched by Diego Ferreira. Darius Flowers, made his UFC debut against Jake Mathis at the 170 welterweight division. He's not a welterweight, folks. He used to fight at middleweight, 185. Took that fight on short notice just to get in the UFC. Got in. Made his debut on the Contender Series. Had his hand caught and picked the guy up and body slammed him. Listen to me. Hear me out. A middleweight moves down to welterweight, moves down to lightweight. I think that power is going to pack with him and stay the same. I think he's going to be able to knock Michael Johnson out. I'm not taking any credit away from Michael Johnson, but I think at this point, Darius Flowers is way more powerful, and he has a lot more to prove, and I think he's going to be out there trying to finish him instead of Michael Johnson just trying to get through the fight, But I think this is a fight that the UFC is giving Michael Johnson so he can look good, so he can win, so he might even be able to retire. But I don't think it's going out like that. Give me Darius Flowers, man. I think he's been training with Bilal Muhammad, putting in good rounds too. Training at Vegas gyms out here too, and Syndicate too as well. Yeah, give me the dog money in that one. Let's go ahead, man. I'm giving Darius Flowers his flowers right now. Gregory Rodriguez, 14 wins, 5 losses, taking on Brad Tavares, 20 wins, 8 losses. Gregory Rodriguez, minus 240 favorite, coming off of a win against Dennis Tulin. Brad Tavares, coming off a win against Chris Weidman. To be honest with you guys, I ain't gonna waste too much time. I like Gregory Rodriguez in the spot. I think he gets it done. If not, he can actually win by decision too. So I think that's a sneaky spot for round 3 to start. I like round 3 to start in this one, but give me Gregory Rodriguez as a solid parlay piece. Next fight, Robert Bryczek, 17 wins, 5 losses, taking on Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria is 0-3 in the UFC. No, he has a win. He has a win over Shogun. That's what it was. Okay, Robert Bryczek is a guy that's going to go out there and try to put your lights out within those first couple of minutes. I think he's going to be able to get this one done. He's a minus 260 favorite on here. I think he's going to be able to knock Potieria out. I've got him to win inside the distance. Potieria is going to be stepping down in this weight class, coming in on short notice too. I think this is a highlight spot that the UFC is trying to showcase one fighter, and it ain't Potieria. Give me Robert Bryczek to get it done. Let's go. First round KO. Co-main event time. Andre Fili, 23 wins, 10 losses, taking on Dan Ige, 17 wins, 7 losses. Dan Ige's minus 160 on the book. Andre Fili just came out of a fight like, what, 2-3 weeks ago? Yeah, he did. He sure did. He was able to get that win, okay? Against Almeida. In that fight, he said, man, I'm looked at it like it's my coming out party. So he wanted to make his name known in there. The tides might be turned. I'll be honest. I've been back and forth on this fight, man. Shit. Yeah, but I got Dan Ige in this one. I think he's the more durable fighter, the more explosive fighter. Andre Fili sometimes leaves his chins out there to be touched. If Andre Fili goes for the takedowns and goes for the wrestling, it'd be a lot closer fight on the scorecards. But I think Dan Ige's, I think Dan Ige is going to be able to do enough on the striking to get done. Check back with me though, man. I might go back and forth on this one, man. I might. All right, main event time. Joe Pyfer, 12 wins, 2 losses, taking on Jack Hermansson, 23 wins, 8 losses. Joe Pyfer, like a minus 230 favorite on there. It's been undefeated in the UFC. One of the guys that's going out there finishing all his opponents too, been as advertised. Jack Hermansson's been a guy that's been fighting everybody in the weight class, showing that he's that top type of pedigree in the weight class, in the division. But his last fight out, wasn't able to get done in that one, okay? He was able to get the win over Chris Curtis, but when you look at the trajectory of both these fighters, it look like Joe Pyfer's going this way, Jack Hermansson's going that way. I think Joe Pyfer wins inside the distance. If he really wants to get my specifics, if he attacks the body on Jack Hermansson, he'll fold like a lawn chair at a picnic. Jack Hermansson always had that problems in his fight, but I'll be honest, I think the line is way off. I think it should be like Joe Pyfer minus 160 on here. The fight IQ and the fight resume of Hermansson is something you can't take lightly. If this fight goes past 3 rounds, I would be looking to probably live bet Jack Hermansson and looking to see how it goes, because we don't know how Pyfer looks after 3 rounds. We know how Jack Hermansson looks after 3 rounds. All right. Pyfer wins inside. All right. Now, look, if you guys want to see what I'm betting on and my best bets, head on over to the site, Pick Dawgz. I got it all up there for you, man. I'm putting out 3-packs, round props, underdog props, and hey, man, I got lottery parlays for you guys too. All right. My most confident pick on the card, I would say, is my most confident pick on the card. Nah, let's go ahead and get it out right. All right, my best dog on the card. My best dog on the card is Darius. Nope. My best dog on the card is Max Griffin. All right, my most confident pick would be Hyder Amil, and then my 2-team parlay. Let's go ahead and take Prates and give me Gregory Rodriguez.